Hi, welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is an action movie review. I'm Leo.
I'm Chloe.
And today we're going to be talking about 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
This is obviously going to be the more recent film rather than the TV series. So 21 Jump Street, if you haven't seen it, was a... See, it's a difficult one to say because it's a reboot and it's a sequel of an 80s TV show. Now, the 80s TV show, before we talk about the film, I think...
I didn't know anything about this. I haven't seen it.
I actually used to watch 21 Jump Street. I was never a huge, massive fan of it. And I never saw every episode. But 21 Jump Street was starred Johnny Depp, basically. And it was... the idea was that was having young-looking policemen and women sort of to go undercover into sort of schools and this to sort of, infiltrate sort of youth crime, essentially. Mainly drugs and things like that. And it was kind of a little bit meta, and it was certainly not a serious show, but not a comedy. And that's the interesting thing about 21 Jump Street, the film, is I would say it's probably a comedy.
It's hilarious.
It really, first and foremost, it is an action. It's an action comedy. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So the film does take a different vein to the TV show. Now, if you've seen the film and you have seen the TV show, you will realise, and I think there's going to be a spoiler review, that the film is actually in canon with the TV show, and it is actually a sequel rather than the reboot.
Okay.
So, did you know that?
No.
Yeah, it is, and I'll explain why. That there will be a spoiler in it, but first and foremost, this film is about two policemen, one played by Jonah Hill, who is kind of a fairly smart guy, but physically, not capable necessarily. And then you've got another guy called, I forget the actual character's name, but he's played by Channing Tatum, or Tatum Channing. I can never remember which way around that guy's name is, to be honest with you. He's the opposite, really. He's physically fit and stuff, but maybe not the sharpest tool in the box in regards to the sort of academic side of the sort of police work. But they're actually kind of like sort of enemies, really, at school. But they end up sort of meeting up in the police academy and sort of becoming friends and helping each other. And one thing I would say, I think there's a good chemistry between the two of them. I think they play off each other really, really well, and you do buy that they're actually friends, even though they're so mismatched. Because realistically, would they be friends in real life?
No.
Probably not in most instances, but they sell it really well, and
the opposites attract, don't they?
And there's some serious bromance going on here, let me tell you. Basically, they screw up their first assignment and mess up the whole sort of like reading someone their rights, and essentially get put down into this 21 Jump Street, which...
Sorry, just ignore that.
Ignore that. And they get put down into 21 Jump Street, which is, again, this like police unit, which is meant to be for young-looking police people.
Undercover, isn't it? And they show up in their uniform.
Yeah.
That's just good. And
it's just one joke, and they're... What's good about this film, I think, it's very self-aware of what it's actually doing, and when they have like, they actually reference that it's a kind of an 80s throwback and stuff like that, and then they have Ice Cube is the police captain, and he's a stereotypical sort of angry black police captain, and he actually says, "I'm an angry black police captain," and stuff like that. So it is kind of self-aware.
Yeah, he says, "Embrace your stereotypes."
and it's so funny. It's funny because of that. And it kind of makes it almost unique that it's kind of this buddy cop action film we've seen a lot of times before. But the jokes really, I think, hit the mark more than they miss. And it's an extremely funny film.
A lot of people said it was quite predictable, but well, I must be a bit like stupid or something, but I found it hilarious. I didn't find it predictable at all, but.
No, I really enjoyed it, and it's one of those films I think you'll sort of see. And it'll be whatever, but you'll enjoy it more than the people or whoever's seen it that I've spoken to have always enjoyed it more than I thought they would.
Do you know how many times I've seen it?
How many times have you seen it? There you go. she got better recite it. So, and then basically they go into the high school or college, and they've only been out of sort of school a few years, but there's kind of like the times have changed, and the sort of the geeky kids are now the sort of like more cool kids and stuff like that, and people.
I love that. It's very true.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool to be clever now.
Yeah, and think about the environment and sort of not be sort of homophobic and things like that, and it's changed since they were at school, and it ends up being Jonah Hill's character. It almost becomes more
really?
a cool cat.
Yeah, he's really cool, and then the other guy who was cool is now a bit of a nerd, isn't he?
Yeah, and he hangs out with all the sort of the nerdy kids, which I thought was quite funny. Then it is the case of obviously they go into there are some sort of standard sort of action film sort of tropes really, and they're they're chasing drug dealers and stuff like that, and but I mean I really like the action. There's a fantastic kind of a chase scene where they're kind of tailing this sort of bikie gang, and they get found out, and they're trying to run away, and they're trying to like shoot like tankers and stuff to blow them up, and it just doesn't work.
Nothing blows up, does it?
And it's playing all those sort of typical stereotypes that you see in films, and kind of almost that was saying,
yeah,
no, we're not
every
doing
action
that.
film, this happens and it explodes. No, it's not going to explode. Instead, we're going to make the chickens explode.
Yeah. And it's just brilliant because of that. I mean, this film doesn't take itself seriously, but it's so much better for that. It's so much better for that, and it just lets them just have fun. I mean, to me, it looks like making this film, they must have had an absolute blast, because that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It looks like people just having fun on film. Yes, there is a cohesive story. Story, admittedly, probably isn't the most original story. But it's
funny,
but it's such a good film. If you're going into this watching, you want to watch Lethal Weapon, it's not going to be that kind of like more of a stereotypical action film. But it's more of a comedy, but with setting in an action film sort of setting. And I'll give it up to Tatum Channing, whatever it is. I enjoyed him. He got a bit of for us guys. I think he gets a bit of a bum rap because. He's typical sort of chick flick fodder, but I really enjoyed him in this, and Jonah Hill as well. I thought again, I'm not a massive fan of him. I wasn't actually a big fan of Superbad, which I know a lot of people love, and he's from that. But I thought they were both really good in this. I thought the supporting characters were great. Really enjoyed it.
What's your favourite bit other than the car chase? Because that's everyone's favourite bit.
Is it?
It's got to be everyone's favourite bit.
Oh God, Okay, so we're going to come on to what I said about the bit that's being a bit of a spoiler. There's one scene in this film that I quite like because it was it referenced the original TV show, and it's towards the end of the film where they're sort of facing off with all the bad guys, and basically they get recognised as policemen. There's a bit of a standoff. And it turns out that two of these biker gangs are police in disguise. They're CID or undercover cops, whatever they are called in America. And it's actually Johnny Depp and a guy called Peter DeLuise, who are both in the original TV series. And that's really what it is. And they basically what they're saying is they're the same characters that they were in the TV show. This obviously is just X amount of years after this TV show, so it really that's how it links into the original film because they're playing the same guys that they played in the TV show, and I really like that because it was such a good surprise cameo because you don't know it's Johnny Depp and he's in makeup.
There's a bit of bromance in that scene going on,
yeah,
as well, isn't there?
Yeah, it's very heavy in the old bromance. There is some romance in it as well. Jonah Hill kind of meets a girl.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But what's good about her as well is because she's pretty, but she's not like.
Not obviously pretty.
She's not kind of like stupidly out of his league, I don't think, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I don't like about the kind of Dave Franco, who is the sort of drug dealer guy at school. The sort of the guy who's kind of
guy?
No. He's a student who is the sort of like the sort of dealer.
Oh right, yeah.
I didn't like him. I thought he was quite an annoying character to me. I mean, I don't know if that was maybe his. He always seems to be very much the same in every role he does. I mean,
I haven't seen him in anything else. But
he's been in a couple of bits. I mean, that's maybe just my personal opinion, so I can't really fault the film in that. But I don't really like him. I think he does. I mean, I've seen him in a couple of bits, and he always plays the sort of like the cocky, smarmy type guy. So that was just me. But that's more. I don't like that particular actor rather than anything wrong with the film. So I won't hold that against the film. So what would you give it out of 10?
Well, I'm biased because it's my second favourite film. Avengers being my first, so I'll give it a 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Well, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. So we'll round it down and we'll say a 9 in that case.
Yeah.
So what did you think of it, and how did you feel it stacked up against other sort of buddy cop films? Leave us a comment, and we'll look forward to you next time on Geek Legion of Doom. See ya.
Bye.